Chosen one. This season is for you. This season is yours. Chosen one, this is not just another day. This is not just another week. This is a marked moment in time, a spiritual timestamp. The heavens have shifted, and your name has been whispered in places your feet have never walked. You've been called forward. You've been aligned with a divine current that is pulling you out of your waiting room and into your winning room. Everything you went through, every quiet sacrifice, every invisible act of endurance has brought you to this announcement. This season is for you. This season is yours. Before we go any further, I want you to stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to hear may confirm everything your soul has been sensing in silence. Leave your warmest wishes in the comments. Write number 99 and number 777 to seal this moment with intention, and subscribe to join this glory journey. This is not just another message. This is your turning point. This is a chapter about wishes coming true and energizing the universe. And this chapter, Chosen One, has your name all over it. You may have felt overlooked. You may have felt passed by. Doors may have closed right before you walked through them. People you trusted may have distanced themselves. But what they didn't know, what even you may not have fully known, is that all of it was preparing you for this season that carries your signature. This is not a borrowed moment. This is not a shared spotlight. This is your time to receive what has long been preserved for you. You've been in a place of development, not denial. What looked like delay was divine calibration. What looked like silence was sacred orchestration. The universe wasn't ignoring you. It was arranging things behind the scenes, stacking blessings, aligning timing, weaving synchronicities that you couldn't comprehend yet. Because you weren't just waiting for a season to begin. The season was waiting for you to be ready to own it. This isn't just a promotion. It's a transformation. You're not being returned to who you were. You're stepping into who you've always been, beneath the layers of survival. The moment has come where your authentic self no longer needs to play small, to blend in, to seek validation. The power of this season is not in the noise. It's in your peace. It's in your knowing. It's in the quiet fire you've carried for far too long. Everything that didn't make sense is about to make sense. The dots that never connected will now form a constellation. Your past isn't a mistake. It's the evidence that grace carried you, even when logic couldn't. The heartbreaks, the losses, the days when you almost gave up, they were all shaping the exact version of you that this season requires. Because this season isn't random. It's revelation. You were not left behind. You were being led through. There were moments you questioned the path. You asked why the road had to be so rough. But Chosen One, that very terrain, built the strength that's now rising in you. The very pain you prayed to avoid became the soil of your spiritual power. And now, the winds are changing. The atmosphere is echoing your name with favor. The air feels different because you are different. You may not see it fully yet, but you can feel it. The signs are subtle, but they are undeniable. Opportunities are beginning to knock, not by accident, but by alignment. People who once ignored you will suddenly feel drawn to you, not for who you were, but for the light you now carry. Doors that refused to open before will now swing wide because the frequency you're on has changed. Don't shrink when the spotlight finds you. Don't retreat when the blessing lands. This is what you prepared for in the silence. This is what your tears watered. This is what your isolation protected. You are not a beginner anymore. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, energetically, you are built for what is coming, and what's coming is coming quickly. But make no mistake, this season isn't just about external gain, it's about internal glory. You're not just gaining things, you're reclaiming yourself. You're seeing your worth without conditions. You're moving from chasing to attracting, from surviving to thriving, from hoping to knowing. That's what makes this season different. Not just what you'll receive, but who you've become in the process. Stay grounded, stay grateful, stay aligned, because blessings given too early can destroy. But blessings given in divine time, they multiply, and this is the time. The favor isn't fragile anymore. The harvest isn't temporary. The people entering your life now will feel different because they're not sent for the old version of you. They're drawn to the essence you had to fight to protect. This is the season where you no longer beg for a seat at the table. You build the table. You don't knock on closed doors. You become the door. You don't audition for acceptance. You walk in authority. You don't explain your light. You let it shine, boldly and unapologetically. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. And the difference is everything. No more waiting, no more wishing, no more wondering if it's real. You're stepping into fulfillment. You're stepping into flow. Everything is catching up with the vision you've held in your heart for so long. And the world will wonder how it happened so fast. But you'll know it didn't happen fast. It happened faithfully, step by step, day by day, tear by tear, dream by dream. And now, chosen one, this is your confirmation. This season has been set apart, not only in time, but in essence. It does not resemble what has come before. It does not carry the echoes of your past pain, nor does it reflect the limitations others tried to place upon you. This is a cleansed atmosphere, a recalibrated field, a new garden where only what is aligned with your soul is allowed to grow. And the weeds of doubt, fear, and guilt, they have no soil left here. You've stepped into an environment where clarity is your companion. You're no longer living by reaction. You are led by revelation. You sense things more deeply. You feel shifts before they are visible. That's not anxiety, that's discernment. That's the divine alert system within you, letting you know that your spiritual GPS is active, your internal compass recalibrated. You're not guessing anymore, you're guided. There were times when you questioned your own vision, not because it wasn't powerful, but because others couldn't see it. You tried to explain it, prove it, share it, but it felt like you were speaking a language no one around you could understand. That's because it wasn't time yet. It wasn't their job to validate the seed. It was your task to protect it. And now the time of hiding the seed is over. The season of showing the fruit has arrived. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you pulled away, why you went quiet, why you stopped chasing what no longer aligned. You were not running. You were realigning. You weren't quitting. You were being called higher. And the elevation required separation. The higher you rise, the fewer people can go with you. That's not a punishment. That's protection. Some energies can't survive in the air you now breathe. And now that the fog has lifted, you see things with sharper eyes. You see through false invitations. You spot manipulation at a glance. You sense misalignment before it arrives. That's not paranoia. That's wisdom forged in the fires of your old seasons. You've earned that insight. You've bled for that intuition. Don't dull it just to keep others comfortable. In this season, you are being pulled by peace, not pushed by pressure. That's how you'll know it's for you. No more negotiating your worth. No more shrinking in rooms where your presence is the blessing. No more fitting into spaces that were never built for your expansion. You were not created to be tolerated. You were born to be celebrated, not because you are better than others, but because you finally realize you're not less than anyone. Expect your inner circle to shift, not because you're cutting people off in bitterness, but because you're growing out of patterns that no longer serve your evolution. The version of you that accepted breadcrumbs no longer sits at your table. This season requires a new table, a new tone, and a new tenderness with yourself. It's time to speak to yourself like someone you are in love with. Watch how things begin to flow when you stop forcing them. This is the season where the right opportunities won't need to be chased. They'll be magnetized. The people who are meant to walk with you will find you without manipulation. The blessings that align with your frequency will arrive without chaos. Why? Because you're no longer begging the river. You've become the source. You've done the inner work. You've been obedient to your growth. You've embraced the uncomfortable shifts, sat in the silent storms, and trusted the unseen plan. Now you're not just being rewarded, you're being released. Released from self-doubt, released from comparison, released from energetic loops that kept you repeating cycles that were far beneath your capacity. When you walk through life with this level of awareness, you no longer chase closure from people who couldn't even give you honesty. You no longer exhaust yourself explaining your evolution to those committed to misunderstanding it. Instead, you sit in your stillness and let your elevation do the talking. The light on you will speak louder than your words ever could. This season is for breakthroughs that don't just fix, they free. The kind of healing that doesn't just soothe, it rewires. The kind of love that doesn't just feel good, it feels safe. The kind of abundance that doesn't drain you, it renews you. This is the season where you finally experience what your spirit has always known existed, but your reality hadn't caught up to. Until now. You'll see confirmations in small ways first. A message you needed at the right time. A door opening without effort. A person arriving with alignment in their spirit. A delay that turns into a divine reroute. And when you recognize these signs, don't minimize them. Acknowledge them as spiritual affirmations that you are on the exact path meant for you. The universe speaks in whispers before it roars. This is your whisper season. But don't be mistaken. The roar is coming. The roar of recognition. The roar of results. The roar of rewards. You are not waiting on it. It's waiting for your readiness, your boldness, your yes. And when you say yes, fully, unapologetically, the atmosphere shifts in your favor. So breathe, align, anchor yourself. This is not the time to question what you've been shown. This is the time to lean in, to believe harder, to move with sacred confidence. Not because it's easy, but because it's ordained. What's ahead of you may still stretch you, but it will not break you. It will build you. And in the process, it will bless you. You're not entering this season by accident. You've been prepared for this. You've cried for this. You've surrendered for this. And now, you will thrive in this. It's already written. The only thing left for you to do is walk in it. Chosen one, let's go deeper now, because this is not just about you receiving blessings. This is about you becoming the blessing. You are not merely a vessel for miracles. You are a catalyst for transformation, a walking portal of divine alignment. Your words, your energy, your presence, they're shifting atmospheres. You may not have noticed it fully yet, but people can feel it. They sense that something about you is different now, something real, something radiant, something anchored. It's not about being loud, it's about being true. You've learned how to move in silence, but stand in certainty. You've become fluent in the language of divine timing. And now, the world is about to catch up to what heaven has already confirmed. You are chosen for this. This moment is not an accident. It is evidence of a cosmic appointment. There is no more space in your life for compromise. Not when you've come this far. Not after all the stripping away. This season has no room for what weakens your spirit. No room for dead-end relationships. No room for outdated goals. No room for carrying people who were never meant to understand the mountain you're climbing. You've outgrown the old script. Now it's time to live in the new storyline that was always waiting for you to say yes to your power. Let that version of you that kept over-explaining rest. Let the old identity rooted in survival retire. That season is over. You're not here to convince, you're here to command. You're not here to please, you're here to walk in purpose. And the more you stand firm in your new alignment, the more effortless everything will become. Not because life gets easier, but because you become clearer. You've stepped into a new rhythm, one where effort still exists, but struggle does not, where challenges still arise, but chaos does not consume you. You've unlocked spiritual intelligence, the kind that allows you to discern the difference between a distraction and a destiny move. You can feel it now when something isn't right. You don't need to debate it anymore. You just let it go in peace. That's growth. That's freedom. That's the fruit of everything you've endured. This season is going to require less of your force and more of your flow. You're not meant to hustle your way into divine alignment. You're meant to receive, to respond, to rise. You don't need to control every outcome. Just commit to your alignment. Stay faithful to the frequency that matches the life you want to live. When your energy matches your vision, the bridge between them collapses. That's when manifestation becomes reality. This is why so many things had to leave your life. People, patterns, plans, because they were taking up space that this new energy needed. The old had to break so the blessing could breathe. You couldn't carry the residue of last season into this one and still rise, and that's why it felt like loss, but it was actually liberation. You didn't lose your light, you lost what was dimming it, and now you're glowing in a way you've never glowed before. Not just externally, internally. That glow comes from peace, from congruence, from knowing that you no longer need to betray yourself to be accepted. You are fully at home in your own soul. You know who you are. You know who you are not. And that clarity is gold. You don't need a stage to shine. Your energy is your announcement. You don't need applause to feel seen. Your presence speaks before your mouth does. That's because you're not performing anymore. You're just being. And when you're truly aligned with your being, everything begins to respond. The people, the opportunities, the ideas, the breakthroughs, the timing, it all bends toward your inner wholeness. This is the season where you no longer seek permission to move forward. You no longer negotiate your worth at tables that feed your insecurity. This is the season where you build your own table. And it's not for validation, it's for vibration. It's for connection. It's for growth. It's for the tribe that is rising alongside you. The souls who speak your language, feel your frequency, and honor your evolution. Because that's what's coming next. Divine connections. Relationships that require no explanation. People who see your heart before your history. People who don't want to change you, but want to celebrate you. People who are not intimidated by your power, but inspired by it. This season will be full of these connections, because now you are finally resonating with truth, not trauma. Gone are the days of betraying yourself to belong. Gone are the days of contorting your truth for comfort. This is the season where you return to your original design, not the version that was created out of pain, but the version that was dreamed into being by divine love before the world tried to program you. That version is rising. And as that version rises, everything changes. The way you speak to yourself changes, the way you choose changes, the way you walk into a room changes. Not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. Not to prove something, but because you have nothing left to prove. The work is already done in the unseen. Now, it's just about receiving in the seen. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are ready. Ready to take your place. Ready to walk into fulfillment. Ready to let your past rest and let your destiny roar. You are not waiting on another sign. You are the sign. You are the shift. You are the prophecy walking. And the world better get ready, because you are no longer waiting for seasons to change. You are the season. Chosen one, as you step deeper into this sacred season, you'll begin to notice something strange. Not chaotic, not painful, but strange in its stillness. In the past, growth was accompanied by struggle, change followed by loss, and elevation by isolation. But now, something has shifted. You're stepping into a realm where growth feels natural. Expansion feels peaceful. You're not fighting for your life anymore. You're finally living it. This is a shift from resistance to receptivity, from carrying everything to allowing things to come. You're no longer praying from a place of desperation. You're aligned with the understanding that what's yours doesn't require you to beg. You are magnetizing it by your maturity, by your healing, by your presence. The universe responds differently to someone who has stopped doubting their worth. There is a grace over you now, one that you didn't even ask for, but it's here, and it's real. Grace that allows things to fall into place without exhaustion. Grace that brings people into your life without confusion. Grace that guards your peace, even in busy moments. You'll walk into rooms and feel like they were built just for you. Not because of ego, but because you finally stopped shrinking yourself to fit into spaces you were sent to expand. You may begin to feel like you're remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. That's because your soul is resurfacing. All of the wisdom, all of the gifts, all of the courage that was buried beneath layers of survival. It's being unearthed. This season is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been. It's not transformation as much as it is a return. And in that return, you'll find your rhythm again, your voice again, your joy again. Not because someone gave it back to you, but because you stopped giving it away. You'll realize that you are not dependent on others for energy. You've become the generator of your own light. And from that light, new things will grow. Relationships, ideas, opportunities, all flowing from the energy of wholeness. What used to trigger you will now teach you. What used to drain you will now disappear. And what used to scare you, now it's small in the presence of your power. You've realized that fear never had the final say. It was only a filter through which you used to look at life. And now that the filter is removed, you see clearly, you speak clearly, you walk clearly. This season is not about chaos. It's about clarity. And with that clarity comes speed. Things will begin to move fast. Not rushed, not reckless, but fast in alignment. Opportunities you thought would take years will show up in weeks. People you dreamed of connecting with will suddenly appear. Projects you gave up on will start breathing again. And it won't be because you're chasing them. It will be because you finally matched them. Energetically, emotionally, spiritually. In previous seasons, you had to fight for peace. Now peace will follow you. Before, you had to explain your vision to everyone. Now, your vision speaks for itself. You once walked in rooms trying to be seen. Now the rooms feel empty until you walk in. That's what happens when alignment replaces ambition. You're no longer striving, you're arriving. You've learned to say no, not from anger, but from awareness. You've learned to protect your energy, not because you're selfish, but because you've finally realized how sacred you are. You no longer hand out access as a form of proving your worth. You give from overflow, not obligation. You love without losing yourself. That's divine balance. And this season is built on that foundation. Let go of the need to overperform. You are not a performance. You are a presence. Let go of the desire to be perfect. You were never meant to be polished. You were meant to be powerful. Let go of the guilt for how you've had to grow. The path may have looked messy, but the result is miraculous. You've alchemized your pain into wisdom. You've turned every breakdown into a breakthrough. That alone makes you unstoppable. And now, the atmosphere knows it. Watch how people start responding to you differently. Watch how synchronicities increase. Watch how the timing of things becomes too perfect to ignore. It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's spiritual alignment, manifesting in real time. It's your new season, showing up not just in theory, but in physical form. Be present with it. Savor it. Don't rush to the next thing. This season isn't about what's next. It's about what's now. This is your reintroduction, not to others, but to yourself. This is your mirror moment. Look at what you've become. Look at what you've built internally. Look at the strength you developed in silence. That strength is the soil of your success now. It's the foundation for everything this season is birthing. Chosen one, you are no longer the person who needed to prove anything. You are the proof. You are the living, breathing evidence of what happens when someone refuses to quit, when someone chooses alignment over attention, when someone surrenders their timeline to divine timing. You're no longer chasing destiny. You're walking with it. You'll wake up one day soon and realize that everything you used to pray for has become your lifestyle, not because you forced it, but because you became it. The love, the wealth, the peace, the recognition. They're all flowing now because you've built the capacity to hold them. You've stopped leaking energy and started leading with it. You've stopped overgiving and started overflowing. And that's when miracles become sustainable. Your legacy doesn't start someday in the future. It begins now, in this season, through how you live, how you speak, how you show up. Every choice you make in this season carries momentum. So make them count. Choose courage. Choose honesty. Choose the version of yourself that walks in truth even when it's uncomfortable. Because the fruit that grows from integrity, it lasts forever. Chosen one, the moment you fully accept that this season is yours, something incredible happens. The energy around you shifts. Life begins to cooperate with you. Instead of feeling like you're pushing against a wall, you begin to move with a current, a divine current that was always waiting for your agreement, your surrender, your confidence. This is not about ego. This is about embodiment. The moment you start walking like the version of yourself you've always dreamed of becoming, you don't just change. The world around you responds. Your posture changes, your decisions sharpen, and your aura expands. You speak differently. You love differently. You choose differently. Because your standard has risen. Not out of entitlement, but out of evolution. This season is calling you to live in your new standard unapologetically. No more entertaining what drains your energy. No more accepting crumbs when you've been called to abundance. No more dimming your light for comfort zones that were never designed to handle your brilliance. The people who are meant for you in this season won't be intimidated by your light. They'll be ignited by it. You've learned how to be alone without being lonely. You've learned how to trust your intuition when no one else understood. And now, that sacred inner guidance will lead you into divine alignment with people, places, opportunities, and outcomes that don't require you to compromise yourself. Because this season doesn't just bring increase, it brings integrity. There is no blessing worth having if it costs you your truth. And in this season, the blessings will match your vibration. You won't have to pretend. You won't have to dilute yourself. What's coming is coming because you stayed true even when it was hard. Because you refused to settle. Because you waited with honor. And now, the reward will be just as deep as the sacrifice. You're going to start noticing how peaceful your life becomes when you stop trying to fix what God already told you to leave behind. You'll find joy in the simplicity of knowing that what flows is for you, and what falls away, bless it and let it go. This is maturity. This is mastery. This is elevation without ego. This is choosing your path without performing. This season is not about busy schedules and scattered energy. It's about focused execution. One aligned action is worth more than 100 forced ones. One aligned yes can open 10 doors. One aligned no can protect your whole future. Don't rush, don't scatter. Listen, align. Move when it's time, and rest when it's not. This is divine rhythm, not random hustle. And this is also the season of harvest. You planted when no one saw. You watered your dreams with tears. You stood in faith when results were invisible. And now, the ground is responding. Your obedience is echoing in the atmosphere. It's bringing back to you what you forgot you planted. It's showing up in ways that will shock your logical mind. Because miracles don't follow logic. They follow alignment. You'll see proof soon. Proof that you're not crazy for believing in more. Proof that your prayers weren't in vain. Proof that your intuition wasn't lying. You were just ahead of your time. And now time has finally caught up to the truth you've carried all along. This is not a coincidence. This is your confirmation. You didn't miss your moment. It's here now, and it's yours. There will be moments in this season where you feel like life is accelerating. Don't panic. You're not being rushed. You're being caught up to your calling. Time is bending. Events are collapsing into each other. All the delays, detours, and divine pauses have built this exact moment. You're not behind. You're right on time for a timeline that was rewritten to elevate you. Do not be surprised if you feel yourself pulling away from old habits, even the ones that used to comfort you. The energy you're stepping into doesn't support the version of you that needed those patterns. It supports the you that you're becoming, the healed, whole, powerful version of you that no longer uses dysfunction as a default. That's the real you. That's the version this season was created for. This is also the season of divine protection. What you don't see being blocked is just as powerful as what you do see being blessed. Rejection is not just redirection. In this season, rejection is redemption. Every door that closes makes room for the door that fits. Every person who leaves makes space for someone who loves rightly. Everything that falls off does so because it can't survive your elevation. Keep trusting the silence. That space where nothing seems to be happening is often where everything is coming together. Don't rush to fill it with noise. Don't force answers. Sit with it. Let the stillness refine you. Let it teach you how to be a mountain, steady, strong, rooted, regardless of the weather around you. That's the strength you carry now. You don't sway, you stand. The people watching your journey may not understand the shifts happening in your life. Some will question your peace. Others will envy your glow. But you're not responsible for their perception, only for your alignment. Let your growth speak. Let your light lead. You don't need to prove your process to anyone who wasn't praying with you in your wilderness. What matters now is not who's watching, it's who you're becoming. And this version of you, it's undeniable, unstoppable, unshakable. This is the version that doesn't just manifest, it multiplies. That doesn't just speak affirmations, it embodies them. That doesn't just dream, it delivers. You've come too far to play small now. You've healed too much to hide. You've risen too high to go back. This is the moment to live fully, to love boldly, to lead with vision, and trust the divine process that's been working in your favor all along. And it is. Every single day, every breath, every step, whether you see it or not, everything is working for you. Chosen one, let this truth settle deep into your bones. You are not here by accident. You did not stumble into this season. You were carried here, lifted by unseen hands, held by a grace too big to understand. You made it, not because everything went perfectly, but because your spirit refused to break. Even when everything around you tried to shatter you. This is not just a new chapter. This is a divine installment, a sacred alignment, the beginning of a rhythm that matches who you really are, not who you were trying to be for survival, but who you were born to be from the beginning. This season is not a detour. It's not a backup plan. It's not a second chance. It's the main story, the original plan, the reason the battles were so intense. Because this season carries weight. There's an energy on you now, one that speaks without you having to say a word, one that walks into the room before you do, one that magnetizes blessings without burnout. You've become someone who doesn't have to push to prove. You don't force what flows. You don't panic when something leaves. You don't cling when something ends. You move in trust. You rest in truth. You operate in flow. Because now, your identity is no longer tied to outcomes. It's anchored in alignment. You've detached from false narratives that once tried to define you. You've stopped seeking permission to be powerful. And because of that, this season has no limits, no barriers, no restrictions. What used to feel impossible is now inevitable. What used to feel far away is now unfolding in front of your eyes. Chosen one, you are standing in the season where the seeds you forgot you planted are blooming, where the doors you thought were closed forever suddenly open with ease, where the no you once cried about reveals itself as the greatest protection you could have received. This is not fiction. This is favor, and it's real. You may feel an overwhelming sense of calm right now. That's not apathy. That's alignment. That's the confirmation that you're not at war with your path anymore. Your soul has made peace with the process. You've stepped out of needing things to happen your way and stepped into letting them happen the right way, the divine way. Even the small signs matter. That number that keeps repeating, that opportunity that keeps coming back around, that dream you can't let go of. They are all whispering the same thing. This is your moment, not to wait, not to hesitate, not to doubt, but to move, to believe, to claim what's been yours all along. And when it arrives, the manifestation, the abundance, the recognition, the love, you won't be surprised. You'll be grateful, yes, but not shocked, because some part of you always knew. You knew the darkness wouldn't last forever. You knew the pain had purpose. You knew the silence wasn't abandonment. It was preparation. You stayed faithful. You stayed open. And now everything is responding to that frequency. This is not the time to shrink. This is not the time to question if you're ready. This is the time to stretch, to walk boldly into rooms you used to disqualify yourself from, to speak your truth without trembling, to stand in your light without apology. You were not sent here to dim. You were sent here to ignite. And this season will give you every reason to do just that. Everything that's for you now will recognize you instantly. You won't have to explain your value. You won't have to fight for attention. You won't have to chase what's divinely assigned. What is aligned will cling to you, because you've become the match to the miracle. You've stepped into overflow, not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, creatively, relationally. The way you speak to yourself is shifting. The way you speak to others is transforming, not from a place of needing approval, but from a place of inner authority. That is the tone of this season. Divine authority rooted in humility. And now, you'll be asked to carry this energy with intention. Don't waste time explaining your glow. Just shine. Don't waste energy re-explaining your boundaries. Just honor them. Don't dilute your dream to make others comfortable. Just live it. This season is not about adjusting. It's about ascending.